Board education norms. Can you hear me? Nope. Man won't come on either.
Testing.
Here, this will work.
Okay.
You didn't turn on it.
Board of education norms. Number one, a cohesive team. Pause to hear all voices after someone speaks. Consider all opinions. Assume positive intentions. Number two, collective agreement. Collective voices to reach decisions. Honor and respect the work of the board. Honoring and supporting the board's decision at all times. Number three, be prepared for meetings. The board will review the packet details and submit questions within the established time frame. Members of the board would arrive 5 minutes prior to the start of the meetings. Administration will release board packets to the Riverview Garden District School District Board of Education within the identified time span. Number four, not allow outside entities to dictate board actions. Riverview Garden School District Board of Education decisions will be made based on facts, policies, and procedures, not individual opinions or requests. Number two, educate and encourage the community to follow proper protocols for voicing concerns as policy KC-community engagement. And that's it.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
It has been moved by Ms. Moore-Real and seconded by Dr. May to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The agenda is approved. Next, we will have Riverview Excellence.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues and community. Today for Riverview Excellence, we are honoring two of our esteemed staff members. I believe one was not able to make it tonight, but I still want to mention her as well. First, Miss Barbara Sharp, who's here. If you can stand, Miss Sharp. And then also Dr. Amy Blackwell Foster, the principal of Coke, and Ms. Sharp is the executive director of Continuous Improvement. And I believe that Dr. Patton mentioned it in her report last week, but we wanted to make sure they got their official Riverview Excellence. So Ms. Sharp and Dr. Foster were honored with the Outstanding Educator Award from the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa Incorporated. This award was designed to recognize educators who have dedicated their lives to empower students in the St. Louis community. And they were awarded on June 21st. And one thing, as we sort of look to put together the certificates and get a narrative, a new thing I learned about Ms. Sharp is that she is known as Mama Sharp around the town. And so from now on, I'm gonna call you Mama Sharp when I see you. But Ms. Sharp has spent over 36 years in education and many years here at Riverview Garden. So we just want to recognize her for Riverview Excellence for getting this esteemed award. We'll make sure Dr. Foster gets hers, but board, if you want to come around and get the photo with Ms. Sharp. And that concludes Riverview Excellence.
Thank you, Mr. Sistrum. Next, we will have our public comment. Ms. Shea, do we have any patrons for public comment? Okay, thank you very much. All right, next we will move to our announcements from our board members. Do we have any board members that have any announcements? Okay, all right, thank you. We will keep moving. Next, I would like to request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move. Oh, go ahead.
I so move.
Second.
Okay. It has been moved by Ms. Jackson and seconded by Dr. May to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the consent agenda has been approved. The motion passes. Okay, next we will have our superintendent with her report.
Thank you, thank you. Hello, everybody. I just want to share some information. As you know, we are getting ready for the 25-26 school year. Don't everybody stand and clap at one time. But it's coming August 18th. It's our first day of school. It is not after Labor Day. It's August 18th. So please have your babies at school. Registration is open. It's been open for a few months now. We are assisting with registration at our high school library on Mondays and Wednesdays from 8:30 to 4:30, and Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 to 7:30. So we have an extended day on Tuesdays and Thursdays for our parents who may work during the mornings are not able to register their students, and then and vice versa. So whenever you are off, we are open for you to register your students. We are asking you to get them registered quickly, as soon as possible. We have a new platform that's going to take some getting used to. So please make sure that you are registering your students. You will need proof of residency, proof of the birth certificate of your student. There are many documents that you may need. So Ishmael will be getting this information out. I think it's already been sent out, but he will send it out again on all of the items that you need for registration. The most important thing to keep in mind is that if your student is not registered, they will not receive the golden tickets for the Back to School Bash, which is July 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. on our high school campus. Those golden tickets get you the book bags packed with school supplies, as well as the tickets for the food trucks. So please make sure your students are registered before July 31st. There will be no registration during the Back to School Bash. We've done that for the last couple of years, but we are not offering registration during that time this year. So please make sure to get your students registered. I also want to remind our parents, this has been shared out in our newsletter as well as on our electronic board. Every student in Riverview Gardens will need to have clear backpacks as we move into the 25-26 school year. Every student, clear backpacks. So please make sure if you are purchasing backpacks that they are the clear backpacks. This is for safety reasons. We want to make sure that our students are safe. We will also enact our cell phone policy again this year. Metal detectors will be installed at all levels throughout the district. I do also want to mention we have our Equity and Action Conference coming up on July 17th. That will be held at Westview Middle School. We have the St. Louis County Libraries has the St. Louis Summer Adventure reading, and that's going to be at all St. Louis County Libraries. Information will be sent out throughout the district tomorrow on that. And as well as, this is our last board meeting for this month. Our next board meeting will be August the 12th in this very room. We typically have 2 every month, but this month we will have 1. So, Madam Chair, that concludes my announcements.
Okay,
Thank you.
very much. Next, we will move to our items for information. Our first item is Ms. Neal. If she will come forward to the podium. She's with us tonight from the North County Innovative Charter School. The contents of the presentation by Ms. Neal is intended for informational purposes only and does not constitute an endorsement by the Riverview Gardens Board of Education. Ms. Neal.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Patton. I want to start by thanking you, not just for allowing me the space to speak tonight, but for your ongoing work and commitment to the children in the Riverview Garden School District. Next slide, please. I know that when you hear the word charter, it can bring up questions and in some cases concerns. I'm not here to dismiss those. I'm here to acknowledge them, address them directly, and share how NCIS, North County Innovative School, can be part of a future for students, families, and a broader North County community. Next slide, please. Tonight is about more than a presentation. It's about opening the door to conversation. I want to share our story, clear up confusion around charter schools, and show you that NCIS is not here to divide, but to unite around a shared purpose, helping every child in this district thrive. Next slide, please. Charter schools, a public school model in Missouri. What are charter schools? Charter schools are tuition-free and open to all. They are funded by the state, just like traditional district schools, held accountable by a state-approved sponsor, and governed by a nonprofit board of local professionals. They are also designed to offer flexibility in exchange for strong outcomes. In Missouri, charter schools operate under a contract with the Department of Education, approved sponsors, and are subject to closure if they do not meet performance goals. So you will often hear that charter schools lack accountability or that we do not have the same accountability. I would beg to differ that we have more accountability, because if we do not meet the statutes and the demands of our charter, then we risk closure. Let me speak clearly. Charter schools are public schools. In Missouri, again, they're tuition-free, they're non-sectarian, meaning that they're non-religious, and we are required to meet the same academic standards as district schools. The difference is in governance and flexibility. Charters are designed to innovate, but they're also held to strict accountability. Again, if we do not meet our goals, we close. That's real public accountability. Next slide, please. Here we have what kind of lays out traditional public versus charter schools. Again, what are the differences and what are the similarities? They're all tuition free. Admissions, we are open to all. There is no testing, there is no cherry picking, there's no going through what they call the cream of the crop. We are open to all children that are eligible to enroll in the district. Our governance is structured through a nonprofit board and state-approved sponsor. And so the difference would be between your elected board that you see in your traditional school districts. Our curriculum and staffing, we have more accountability in design and hiring for a traditional public school that is aligned more so to district policies. Accountability, again, we must meet performance goals or risk closure. And the traditional public schools are state monitored through the Department of Education. We both receive state funding based on enrollment. This slide is not about which model is better. It's about understanding the differences. NCIS, like all charter schools, is still publicly funded, still serves all children, and is still held to academic standards. The main difference is that we have more flexibility in how we operate and more pressure to show those results. Next slide, please. Here are some myths or some erroneous and misconceptions that you will often hear. Charters cherry pick students. Public schools must enroll all students without selection. What does that mean? NCIS uses open enrollment, no testing, no screening or selection. As a matter of fact, our SIS platform does not collect data or information at the point of the initial application. The only thing we ask for is parent ID, proof of residency, and birth certificate. It is not until the student has been offered a seat and the parent accepts that seat that we then ask for the additional information around report cards, whether there's an IEP in play or things of that nature. So we don't know who the students are showing up prior to that parent accepting that seat. The next one, they don't take state tests. Charters are required to take the same state assessments, MAP, end of course exams, which is you'll see at the high school level, the EOCs, et cetera. For us, fully accountable for student performance and growth. They have no accountability. Charters closed if they fail. We must meet academic, financial, and organizational goals or we lose our charter. Their boards are outsiders. Charters must have a local nonprofit board. Specifically for North County Innovative School, we have 3 community residents from the Riverview Garden School District, as well as 2 alumni that sit on our board. So we wanted to make sure that we were touching the community in that aspect. The district has to pay for it. Charters manage their own budgets and operations. NCIS will not request Riverview Garden School District transportation or services. We operate independently unless agreed upon collaborations are in place. And then I'll add too, where they say charter schools take money from district schools or from public schools. Charter schools are public schools. And just like with any transfer that happens, if a student transfer out of a district, that funding does follow the student. But it follows the student if that student withdraws and goes to another district, or if they homeschool, or even in parochial school, that money would still leave the district. It's still the same standard. Next slide, please. We're built for this moment, and we're built for the community. We did extensive community engagement, focus groups, canvassing, one-on-one conversations, tabling at events in the community to make sure that we heard community voice. And for that reason, we did make pivots in a lot of what we were going to do with our model because we listened to the community. We are not a cookie cutter school. We are in response to the realities facing families in Riverview Gardens: mental health, early childhood gaps, parent and career demand for hands-on tech integrated learning. We built our model to reflect those needs and to meet them with care, creativity, and high expectations. Next slide, please. We are a trauma-informed therapeutic school. What does that mean? We will have full-time mental health professionals embedded, behavior aides embedded into the school on a full-time basis. But we are not a last resort or an alternative program. We are not being built as a last resort. Our school is a place families will choose because of the love, the structure, and the excellence that we will offer. And while our model will absolutely support students who need care and healing, we are here for all children, the thriving, the struggling, the curious, the creative. We are inclusive by design. Next slide, please. We're not competing, we're contributing. Our goal is not to replace or drain what's already here. It's to add something that meets families where they are. We know some parents are already leaving the system, and we believe that NCIS can help them stay. And we believe that we can keep them here. By doing so, we keep enrollment stronger, engagement higher, and families connected to all public school options in the area. Next slide, please. United by purpose, shared commitment, shared community. We may operate differently, but our why is the same. Every child deserves access to a high-quality public education. Families deserve options that reflect their needs and values, and our community deserves schools that empower and not exclude. We're here to join the work, not disrupt it. We are neighbors, not outsiders. We are partners, not opponents. Even if we come from different models, we share the same mission. We believe in public schools, we believe in families, and we believe that together as district leaders, educators, and innovators, we can strengthen the entire educational ecosystem. Next slide, please. We are here because we care deeply about North County children. NCIS is not a challenge to public education, it is an extension of it. We are not asking for permission to exist. We're inviting collaboration as we grow. This doesn't have to be the end of the conversation, it's the beginning. I know there are differences in how we serve, how we govern, and how we fund our schools. But tonight I'd ask that we put those differences aside, not to think first about what would be lost, but about what would be gained if we work together for the betterment of every child in Riverview Gardens. When we focus on shared purpose instead of turf, when we lead with what unites us, we create something far more powerful than one school or system. Let's not miss the opportunity to model what real collaboration can look like in public education. Our students are watching. Let's show them what's possible. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Our next item up for information is the proposal for sustainability and turnaround schools. Making this presentation is Ms. Barbara Sharp, the Executive Director of Continuous Improvement, and Mr. Ben Tilley, the Missouri Director for Solution Tree. This presentation is in conjunction with Policy IA, Instructional Goals, and IGAB instructional intervention. Ms. Sharp?
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Patton, to our president, members of the board, colleagues, and members of this great community. Tonight, I'm pleased to stand before you and to express appreciation for your support for the last 3 years with this work with Solution Tree. We've just ended the contract with Solution Tree, and so now we are prepared to move to the next level. Moving to the next level requires some additional planning. And so tonight, I am just presenting this proposal to you just for informational purposes. So this first page is, page 10 is one pager, if you will, and it just gives you some additional information. If you read in the pages before, you'll find some additional information. But a couple of things I'd like to point out to you. The first thing is the district level leadership. That is some important information. We'll continue to plan with this. This work is led by Dr. Kramer, who is a project manager for this work. And so this proposal has 3 days included for support to the district. And this is just still another opportunity for us to move to the next level. I'd also like to point out to you that we have content-specific professional development. On this page, you see 10 days. We really have worked to make sure that we have some additional support. Obviously, our curriculum and instruction department are doing a fantastic job, but with these supports, it still is an opportunity to enhance the work that we're doing. So while there are 10 days that's listed here, we have decided that we would divide 5 days for math and 5 days for ELA. And finally, I will point out that we have event registration. So each one of the turnaround schools, those schools are Highland, Lewis and Clark, as well as Meadows. They will have 4 registrations to attend any professional development that the school would plan on working to advance the work that they're doing. Now, you have in this document the same information. It's almost, if you think about a lesson plan, it's a framework for us. It sets the tone for the work that we're going to do, but obviously as we go in and meet in each school, we're able to specify that work a little bit more. So I have with us this evening, Mr. Ben Tilley. He's going to talk to you a little bit more about the work with the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Mr. Tilley.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sharp, and good evening.
Good evening.
The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has issued what they called an RFQ. So they were looking for vendors. And Solution Tree applied to be one of those vendors, and we were selected for that work. So for the past 3 years, we have worked in partnership with the Missouri Department of Elementary Secondary Education, the Riverview Gardens schools and staff, and with Solution Tree. And so the statute that goes along with this work is House Bill 604. And House Bill 604 provides the funding and the legal basis for the work that we are doing. So the work with the 3 turnaround schools is at no cost to the Riverview Gardens School District. That is paid for by the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. So we have been working with the department since early spring, since we knew we were coming to the end of the 3-year contract, in order to look at the statute and determine what the next steps would be. So in the statute, there is a clause that allows for districts who want a little more time for their schools to keep moving forward. They allow a 2-year extension to the current contract. So that is what we have applied for and were accepted by the state of Missouri. One of the items that we are working with the state on is determining what the exit criteria. So what do we need to attain in order to exit successfully from turnaround status? So as we move forward with this work, like I said, it comes at no cost to the school district, but we will continue to work with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, determining next steps and fulfilling the requirements in House Bill 604. happy to take any questions.
Yes, Dr. May?
Yes, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I was just curious as far as, I know it mentions sustainability, but we do have individuals that transition in and out. I was just curious to how we could continue to work when someone gets trained and they end up transitioning. And then, someone comes in, don't know the model, but we've completed the process.
Sure. One of the things that Dr. Kramer asked, who is the lead of this project, asked each school to do was to complete a sustainability plan at the end of the 24-25 school year. In that plan, they were asked to look at some of the critical areas such as culture, such as achievement, such as learning, and to develop a plan that would then help if there were, if there was turnover or new teachers coming in. So the schools have already put into place, and not just the 3 turnaround schools, but all of the schools have put into place the sort of the motions to keep this work moving forward so that at the end of 3 years, it's just doesn't stop. It continues because the work is embedded as part of what the district does every day.
Okay, and every interaction is direct, or is there virtual engagement for coaching that teachers experience?
Sure. The coaching that Ms. Sharp referred to, it is the coaches who come into the district have all had to have been in a school or a district, and they had to have helped turn around that school or district. So they have done the work before, but they come in each month for 2 consecutive days, and they work with the administrators within the building, and they work with the teacher teams in the building. They go into classrooms, they observe, they go to team meetings. So they're very much involved and become really kind of a part of that community within the building. So yes, there is direct coaching. The content coaching, which will be the literacy or mathematics coaching that occurs, is the same. They're working with the teams within the building to help build their toolbox, I guess, in a way, so that they feel good about what they are teaching and are focusing on the standards.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item up for information is are the RGSD committees. Making this presentation is Ms. Shay Fields, Coordinator of Board Governance. And this is in conjunction with policy BCE Board Committees, Advisory Committees to the Board. Ms. Fields.
Thank you, Dr. Patton. Good evening, Board of Education. What you have before you are a list of committees. The format is slightly different. And so what Dr. Patton has charged me with is creating a document that would allow each of you to sign up for a committee that you would like to serve on. What you'll see different from the previous document is that it's been divided up between board committees and district committees. And so the board committees are the audit committee, calendar committee, community engagement, CSIP, policy, and the negotiations. And so the reporting out of each of the committees is different. The board committees report to the board, and so we will develop a calendar so that those committees would then present to the board a report out, okay? And so the district committees would provide a report to Dr. Patton, and then Dr. Patton will report, any information that's necessary for the board. So we would like to answer any questions if you have any questions about the document. And it's displayed on the screen and as well as on your computers. And so the format looks slightly different. The very first link is to the policy. So you can read what the policy says about the committees and how the committees should govern themselves. What I would like to point out is that the board committees are governed by the open records law, okay? And so you may say, well, why are you keeping the records? Or why are you maintaining this document? It's because I am also the custodian of records, and so the policy speaks to that as well. And so what we've asked each of the administrators or the chair for each of the committees is to go into the document, update it with any members who they may already currently have, and any members who may join, as well as give a brief description. And what I also did, scroll back down a little bit for me, is I've put a link. If there was a policy reference to that committee, I've linked that as well to the document. And so we want to allow an opportunity for you as the board to discuss if you would like to serve on any committee. And we would also like to keep the number of board members at a minimum of 3, because if there are 4 board members, then you will have a quorum, and then we would have to post a meeting notice and so forth. Are there any questions? Or can I? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Dr. May.
I was just kind of curious. I asked the superintendent about a comprehensive schedule to give us an idea of when they meet before the commitment, just so, well, maybe I can specify the commitment and then know the date and then.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because as we were talking about it, this will be another item that we can bring forward during our very first work session, which I'll be bringing that agenda item back up as well. But we did want to get something before you, because Board Member Jackson had been inquiring about the committees, and, there's a sense of urgency for board members to join the committees, but know that the school year doesn't start until August, and so we just wanted to at least get it before you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lane.
So you said the committees are governed by the open records?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the 610 dot something, something, something? Is that
So
what it is?
specifically, what it would deal with is the maintaining of the records. And so just to go a step further, this school year, we're hoping to ensure that those board committees are using the diligent platform as well. And so that would provide the transparency that is required with the open records.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Are there any questions or any other things that I can? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Shay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have a question? Ron?
I do not.
Are you sure? Okay. Moving into items for discussion. Our first item up for this discussion is calendar revisions. Making this presentation is Mr. Travis Ford. He is the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, and this is in compliance with Policy IC2, Academic Calendar. Mr. Ford?
Good evening, board members, Dr. Patton, colleagues and community. I'm over Human Resources, not Curriculum and Instruction. But I'm glad to
sorry.
be here. How about that? How
Let's
about
make that
Yeah.
correction because I'm going to introduce him soon, so. He's the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Sorry, Dr. Ramsdale, I did not give your job away. So, Mr. Ford.
Good evening again. Today you have before you an item 2025-2026 calendar revision. The revisions are recommended to the board to approve the 2025-2026 calendar for a professional development day and a teacher work day. The current 2025-2026 calendar designates Thursday, August 7th as a teacher work day and Friday, August 8th as a professional development day. Each year, our district administrators participate in the annual law seminars that's provided by our legal counsel, Tuath Keeney, along with some other associates that they collaborate with. These seminars provide essential training on complex and evolving legal issues that are current and that are impacting public education. So the purpose of this is to equip the district leaders with practical guidance and to reduce legal risks, to support sound decision-making, and to minimize avoidable costs related to school operations. In attendance to this law seminar, we will have most of our district leadership, we will have our building leaderships, we'll have assistant principals. And so we believe that it would be best to change that day and to the teacher work day, and then change the teacher work day that was on the 7th to the professional development day. This change would allow us to be able to support and collaborate with the professional development that's being provided for our teachers and all of our other staff members. And it would show that we are there to support them as well, and we can learn the information that's being presented to them as well. So it is recommended that the RGSD School Board approve the proposed revision to the 2025-26 school calendar and designating August 7th as a professional development day and August 8th as a teacher work day as presented. Are there any questions?
I have a question, Mr. Ford. Were you able to, talk with the calendar committee and with the RGNEA about changing the day?
So I was not able to talk with all of the calendar committee. I was able to present it to some of the calendar committee. I did speak with the union. The union was actually excited about having that opportunity to have Friday as their teacher workday. And then I also spoke with Leadership and Accountability Department. I spoke with Curriculum and Instruction to make sure that there were no planned professional developments that would conflict with it, so.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions from any of the board members?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ford, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Our next item up for discussion is the Board of Education work meeting, Board of Educating meetings / work sessions. This is being presented by Shay and I, and this is in conjunction with policy DBA board meetings. So we have been talking for a while about starting work sessions. So to start off the 25-26 school year, we will begin with work sessions. Each month, we will have one work session, which will be a board work session. It is an open meeting. And then the last meeting of each month will be a regular board meeting. The work sessions will allow us to delve deeper into items for discussion, which allows a better understanding for our board members and our community on what the school district is doing, how the funds are being utilized, how are we progressing in our comprehensive school improvement plan, our budget, just different topics that should involve us to go deeper and ask additional questions. So the first meeting of each month will be the work session. That will be mostly discussion items. There will be items, we will still do our Riverview Excellence. We will still do superintendent announcements. Of course, there will be times when we have emergency items that we need both discussion and action on. And then as we move into our second item, our second board meeting, that will be the items for information. So those items that were for discussion at the first meeting will move to the consent agenda for the second meeting. And then the items that are being presented will be items for information. We believe that this will allow a more in-depth discussion on things, items that we are presenting, contracts, the budget, just things that we need to spend more time on. It allows our board members to ask deeper questions and get a thorough understanding, and it allows our community to have a better understanding as well. Shay, I'm not sure if you want to add anything?
Just a little bit about the seating arrangement for that
Thank
meeting,
you.
if you want to
Mhm.
talk about that.
So it will be, we will take the tables that are seated, that are out there now, and it will be an extension of the board table. So we will be seated around tables, working, looking at the documents, asking questions. We will have microphones at those tables for those employees who are presenting. The employees that are presenting that are not seated at the table, the podium will be on that end, right next to Ms. Morreal, for those who need to make presentations during those times, because that's an item for information. So that will be like program evaluations, what Ms. Sharp just presented. So items for information will be presented during those times. Anything else, Shay, that I didn't?
Well, I think this is a great opportunity for the board members if you have any feedback. Because when I was in discussion with Dr. Patton, I have to now build the agenda for the work session. And so if there's something on here that needs to move around or get, some clarification, this will be the time, because I'll need to build that agenda for that meeting. And once it's built, then Demetra and I, what we do is we create templates of meetings, so it makes it, an easier process. So if there's something that you want to add, take away, if you wouldn't mind, let me know. That'll help in that process. But I think you've covered everything else, Dr. Patton. We will have microphones throughout
At the table.
for the meeting. as well as, we'll be adding the board committee reports to the agenda for the, second meeting. And that the second meeting of every month will be at one of the schools. And so that calendar has already been shared with each of you.
Dr. May?
Okay. I was just curious where the students were gonna go as far as their presentations. I didn't see it listed.
It is listed, if you go to the bottom of that page under, items for information, and it
Okay.
says reports, and the student representatives will be back where
I
they
see
were
it.
previously.
Okay, just
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
board meeting.
Yes, just on the board meeting, because we'll be at the schools. We didn't talk about including them necessarily in the work sessions, but, that
Yeah,
could be an
that can be
opportunity
an
as well.
opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
For them to go ahead and get it
Yes,
done
ma'am.
then
All right.
during the work session.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess I was also thinking about, how we could, as a board, like maybe incorporate our, goal setting process in there instead of having a separate one.
Yes, ma'am. So important topics that would fall under one of
Okay.
those. It would be,
Work session.
work session. Is there a legislative update, something, major coming down that the board would like to take, additional time to talk about, maybe not have to schedule a special board meeting?
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Shay. Our next item up for discussion is the Consolidated Programs Application Title I, Big A and Little A. Making this presentation is Ms. Lakina Curtis. She is the Director of Federal Programs, and this is in conjunction with Policy DDAB, Grants, State and Federal Programs Administration. Ms. Curtis?
Good evening, Riverview Gardens School Board, colleagues and community. Tonight, I bring to you all the 25-26 school year application for Title I-A and Title IV and Title I Little A funds. I do want to read to you all some information that is in here, but I do want to read it verbatim just because of, again, where we are in the state of the country. So it is, I want to say, like the fourth paragraph down. The Title I-A and Title IV applications were made available June 18th, 2025, and due to the submission to DESE by July 1, 2025. At that time, the applications were made available. DESE had not received all allocations from the U.S. Department of Education. This included Title I-C, Title II-A, Title III-EL, Title III-IM, and Title V-B. In an effort to allow LEAs sufficient time to create and submit applications by July 1st, some allocations will appear as zero until the allocation is received by DESE. For Riverview Gardens School District, this means there was no allocation for Title II funding at the time of application and submission. So for those funding sources that I read that there is no allocation for, out of those, we only received Title II. So there is no allocation at this time for us from the U.S. Department of Education. LEAs will be notified of this allocation adjustment later on when if it is allocated, and the application will be returned to me for me to make those allocations if we are awarded those funds. The applications for Title I Part A were also not made available until June 25th, and was also due for submission by July 1st. Title I-A was submitted on June 25th, and Title I-A, Big A, and Grants 4 were submitted on June 26th. Each funding application is provided with substantial approval as of July 1st. So that means that we are allowed to begin spending those funds as of July 1st. The budget impact for this upcoming school year with regard to Title I-A is $4,543,075, which is a change of about $36,000 from the prior year. Title II, again, we were allocated a little bit over $500,000, $521,000, and we have a zero allocation at this time. Title IV, we are allocated $318,687, which is an increase of $2,919. And then Title I, Little A, we have an allocation of $1,884,456 dollars at this time, which is an increase of about $4,000 at this time. Federal Programs is requesting that the Riverview Gardens School Board of Education accept and approve the immediate use of available grants, and a recommendation for approval will be presented later in this meeting. Are there any questions at this time?
Ms. Lang?
Yes, ma'am.
You said a lot.
I did.
You said a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Allocation, allocate does not, well, before I say what allocation means, can you explain what allocated?
That means distributed. So the federal government distributes those funds to every state. So the federal government has not distributed an allocation, a certain amount of money to the state of Missouri for the state of Missouri to distribute to the school districts for Title II within our state, for those school districts that are eligible for those funds.
So do we know if that's going to happen?
I do not. We know, so across the country, no one has received Title II funds.
So how would our CFO know how to?
We do not know. We have to make adjustments, and we're working on that now.
We are.
We do not know. That's the unfortunate thing, and we have to make adjustments. So we just have to be smarter about it at this time until or if we do get those allocations.
But that's a lot of money.
Correct.
How do we, it's not like, how do we do that without, given the current financial position that we're in now and everything else?
Well, we've been in conversation about just holistically as a district understanding what grants are for, what the purpose are moving forward, so that everybody understands that it's not just a continual thing, that money will just always be there, because now we're in this case where that money is not there at this time. So we just want to make sure that moving forward, we educate ourselves and our leaders in our district on what the purpose of a grant is for.
But that money has always been there in the past.
The same amount of money has not. So the amount has fluctuated from year to year.
Okay. Okay.
So like, as you can see from Title I, Big A, we were missing about $36,000 that we had the last year. And each year it just depends. And it also goes based on enrollment, attendance, the academic pieces, all of those sub-factors play a role in how much money we receive as a district.
And so, Ms. Lane, Ms. Curtis has handled that question very well, but we have been meeting.
Diplomatic.
Yeah, she has been, but we've been meeting, she, I, and Mr. Ford on the adjustments we're going to have to make throughout the district. And it is our hope, we received an email that Ms. Curtis shared that it could come in September or it could not come in September. And so we are making plans on making the adjustment, and we will keep the board informed on what that looks like.
Is there any way, okay, so is this, I know it's we don't know situation, I get that.
Yes, ma'am.
But is the public, how do you communicate that to the public?
So as far as coming to the board meetings, I know I'm a parent. I'm not a Riverview Gardens resident. So my school district where I live has been communicated to me as well. And so it's not even just again, school concern. It's
It is.
the health benefits nationwide, all things regarding federal funds have been affected across the board. So it's not just school district, health benefits, everything the public should be aware of related to federal
Well,
funds.
I asked specifically, and I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
I've watched the news.
Yeah.
But when a community member has accused an elected official of the board of being financially irresponsible because of the financial state of the district.
Correct.
Um, uh, Beside the fact that that community person maybe had not been informed, but still, how do we communicate that this is not a Riverview Gardens specific issue?
What we can do is, or what you can direct that community person to do, because this information that I share with you all is also public information.
Okay,
If they are able to get to the DESI website, there's a public side and there's a private side. And I can show you later, or I can show you at a later board meeting or send you the links where they can directly go on there and see how much money Riverview Gardens is allocated as a district and for each funding source.
I would like to know that.
Yes, ma'am.
So we can do that offline.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And Ms. Lane, I'll also say that as Ishmael sends out information, newsletters, weekly and monthly, we will be including that information. We were just notified, they made that decision on June 30th.
Yeah.
And we should have, and we were supposed to have the funds on July 1st. And it is to the tune of
Really
6.8.
June 1st.
Yeah,
I didn't
Yeah.
even get the application, so usually the application is available June 1st. The application was not even made available until June 18th.
right. And we start using that on July 1st. So it's $6.8 billion that have been withheld from districts across the United States.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, look, Keen, I do have a
Yes,
question.
that's okay.
You know, I'm like a dinosaur in this game.
That's
Way
okay.
back, okay, so I'm gonna use the term, what about carryover? Is that like long gone? We don't have that anymore?
Carryover is still a thing.
Okay,
It's
okay,
still a
okay.
thing.
Okay,
However, we're still uncertain. So the
Okay.
way carryover works is we have to wait until, so the 24-25 school year has officially ended
okay.
as of June 30th. So all of those, that information is now being audited. The auditors are in the district doing their due diligence. So there's accounting documents that I have to submit to DESI by September 30th. So when that information gets submitted, they review that. They then look at all of that, look at, all the other sub layers and everything else. That is how our carryover is determined and if we will get that amount as well. So they're also looking, they have to wait till September 30th to see what our current enrollment is as well, because that will affect us too.
Okay, thank
Oh. Oh, that too. That is a good question. So, or a good statement. So I'm being reminded. So this past school year, our application was not even approved until March this year. So we didn't even get carryover until
Understood.
like January of this year.
Understood. Okay,
So
I got it. Thank you.
no problem.
Hopefully we'll get some carryover.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other
Thank you, Ms.
questions?
Curtis. Our next item up for discussion is the SY 25-26 Professional Development Calendar and August pre-service budget. Making this presentation is our new Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Joel Ramsdale.
I brought them candy today.
Right. So, Mr. Ramsdale, I did not give your job to Travis Ford. Mr. Ramsdale's presentation is in conjunction with policy GCL professional development opportunities for staff members. Dr. Joel Ramsdale, welcome to Riverview Gardens.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Dr. Patton, President Williams, board members, staff, and community. As mentioned, I'm Dr. Joel Ramsdale, the new Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. I'm here this evening to present a draft of our school year 25-26 professional development calendar. The purpose of the professional development calendar is to ensure a very coordinated effort with the district to provide strategic and continuous support of our educators and staff. I'll be working with our Professional Development Council on July 16th at our retreat to finalize the specifics of the plan regarding content, delivery dates, and methods of delivery. As part of this year's professional development calendar, we have scheduled our annual pre-service for August, which includes 4.5 days of district-led professional development with the goals of of advancing our staff's knowledge and skill in implementing the board's approved curriculum, improving the use of research-based instructional practices, and as well as aligning universally our instruction with our board-approved resources. Our focus this year will be the onboarding of our new student information system, Focus, which will be a very large component. But we also, knowing that we did not renew or we did renew HMH and did not purchase Envision 2.0, we need to do additional training with HMH to ensure the fidelity of its usage. Benchmark, which is our reading resource, along with the utilization of the workshop model and MTSS. So we're recommending that the board please approve the tentative school year 25-26 professional development calendar with a finalized calendar coming to you in August, as well as recommending the board approve the anticipated estimated August 25 professional development expenditures for our vendors in the amount not to exceed $100,000. We are hoping to have the vendors from HMH, Benchmark, McGraw-Hill, and 95% come present, and they've given us estimated bills that will not schedule with us until we can provide a PO, which we can't provide until a budget is released.
No pressure, Ms. Terry.
Not at all. But I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Question, yeah.
Dr. May?
Just curious strategically, do the teachers get to, like on a PD day, is it always just a session that they have to all attend, or do they differentiate, allow the teachers to choose some things? Is one of my questions. And then it's another one, but you can start there.
Well, that was a great question. I view teacher education just like I view student education. We need to differentiate and provide choice and agency to our teachers and meet them at their level of need so we can help them grow.
Okay, and then my other question is around how are we strategically supporting teachers who may have had evaluative concerns around certain areas so it could be targeted? Is that a part of ours, or they do outside more so than the internal PD if they have?
So I'm going to answer based upon knowledge that I have from another district, and if I answer anything incorrectly, Mr. Ford will help me. In my former district, if you on your summative evaluation had scores indicating an area of need, you were put on a professional growth plan, a PGP, in that specific area. That could be directed through professional development within the building, within the district, or even an outside vendor, depending upon what severity of need there was and how quickly we needed to address that.
Okay, because I was just wondering, like, with the targeted piece, if we're having so many people who might demonstrate inappropriate behavior, is that now that data serves as a reason to focus that PD on that area?
Absolutely. So the survey was given at the end of last year. So we have teacher voice already. Their top 3 areas were classroom management, student engagement, and culture, climate and culture. So those 3 areas will be addressed.
We've also started reaching out, getting targeted professional development for our administrators on investigations, mandatory reporting, also addressing those issues where our teachers may be having some concerns with policy GBCB and those evaluations. We're working in partnership with CNI, Leadership and Accountability. We've had conversations even today about bringing in a representative from Ed Plus who came in a few years ago from DESE, who went over the evaluation model and also talked about the professional growth plan. So those are pieces that we're looking at and planning as we build the Leadership Academy and also our monthly principal meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
So
Thank-
Travis stood up anyway, even though he's not in charge of CNI. And Dr. Ramsdale, not everybody walks in with their own cheering section.
I know I owe them more candy now.
Mr. Ford, Ms. Nave, Ms. Liddell, step up your game, step up your game. Bring your own cheering section next time. Okay. Good job, Mr. Ramsdale, and welcome to Riverview Gardens. Where is security? Can somebody get Ms. Ross? All right, moving to the next item up for discussion is the dual enrollment. Making this presentation is Ms. Khadijah Tijian, even though it says Ms. Tracy Nave here. This is in conjunction with policy JFCL and IGCA, scholarship programs and traditional instructional options. Good to see you, Ms. Tijian.
Hi, well, good evening to the Riverview Gardens School Board, Dr. Patton, colleagues, and community. Before you is an MOU with St. Louis Community College to continue our dual enrollment and dual credit opportunities for our scholars at Riverview Gardens High School. In this agreement, it outlines the courses that we have at the high school that are eligible for dual credit, as well as dual enrollment eligibility requirements, and additional college and career programs, including the early college program, the Embark program, as well as the Emerson STEM program at a cost not to exceed $23,000. This agreement is in line with our CSIP goal of college and career readiness, strategy 3, and it is recommended that the board approve this MOU. Are there any questions at this time?
Slane?
The Emerson STEM program, is that, who conducts that?
Yeah, so that's through St. Louis Community College at the Florissant Valley campus. It's actually a program that's really only exclusive to schools in the North County area. And what that is that students who are interested in like engineering or computer science, things along that nature, students can go there and take a lot of classes, college credit classes that transfer. They won't get an associate's degree, but they will have a lot of transferable college credit and the exposure to different STEM careers upon completion of the program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I wanted to ask, is there like a specific number of students that you cannot go over as far as these programs are concerned?
Yes, so just for my capacity and budget concerns, I try not to go over 10 students for the dual enrollment program. For Emerson STEM, it's a little different where if we have 10 students who meet the qualifications, they will, they will pay for the transportation, but we just have to pay for the credit.
Okay.
So in total, I try not to go over 15 because I do want to make sure that I'm able to still conduct my duties within the district, including at the alternative school, the high school, and then having to be split at the community college. That's a lot, and I want to make sure that everybody is being served effectively.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The reason that I asked that question is because I stumbled upon, and I believe I still trying to see what's going on with that. I stumbled on another dual enrollment program, but I'll have to do some more work on that and share with Dr. Patton and you.
Yeah.
That's why I asked. Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Dr. May?
Yes, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I love those
Yes.
colors, by the way.
Thank you. Miss Nave does too. And I guess Mama Sharp does too. So curious about how our students really do when they go to the program because of, maybe some limited access on how they academics or grade wise, struggling. They gotta have to communicate. So how well do they do getting acclimated to
So
college?
this year, we're actually changing the program in response to some of the things that we've seen the last 2 years. So academically, they do well when they take advantage of the resources, i.e. tutoring, office hours, and things like that. But the students that we recruit and that go to these programs, they're the cream of the crop. So they're not used to asking for help. So there have been a lot of come to Jesus moments, if you will, and some experience is the best teacher when you won't learn any other way moments. But I'm proud of them that they have overcome those barriers, and that's why we see that they've gotten the associate's degrees. And for the few students who were like, you know what, this isn't a good fit, they came to that conclusion on their own. And that's the kind of growth that you can't really quantify, right? But they had the experience, they know what to expect, and they're still not losing out on opportunities because we still have dual credit at the high school. So they're still able to graduate from our district with some college credits, and they're a little more prepared when they go on to their next step. So it's been different, and so that's why this year to be more responsive and so that I have more face time with them, we are changing it to where they will be at the community college in the morning. They will come back to campus at 12:30. They will have last lunch. And then at 1 o'clock, they will have a class like on campus where I can like have FaceTime with them. Because I think it was just too much freedom too soon. And they're 16, 17 years old. And although they are academically brilliant, I think there's some maturity that I have to grow. And they'll do that.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Like a culture shock.
Yeah, it really is. No, it really is, because they're not just in classes with people their own age, they're in classes with adults. And then also their professors are treating them like adults. And so there's not the teachers where we kind of say, okay, we're going to give you another chance to turn in that homework assignment. That's not it. And I think that for them, that was an adjustment. And then when they were struggling, to then ask for help, because for them tutoring is like, well, you're saying I'm dumb. And I'm like, no, 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 no. The most successful people access the supports. But that was a shock for them, because they haven't had to be used to be asked. In fact, they were the go-tos for the help. So it was a shock. Yeah.
Are you the only one who's providing that kind of counseling?
We have a team. So our CTE director, whenever I can't be everywhere, she will step in because she handles a lot of the dual credit at the high school. So if I can't go to the community college, or if there's a meeting that needs to be had and I can't do it, she'll step in. And then also the counselors also step in too as well. So it's a wide team, but I'm primarily the first person. And then if I can't do it because I'm somewhere else, they'll step in and help me. So I'm not in it by myself, thank the Lord.
All right, Ms. Tejan, thank you.
Actually, may I ask to do the JAG while I'm up here?
Well, sure.
Thank you. I knew you loved me. Good evening again. Before you is the MOU for the Missouri Jobs for America's Graduates, also known as JAG, to implement the JAG program. The JAG program focuses on college and career exploration, community service, and career preparation through its building of soft skills. This partnership is in line with the CSIP goal, College and Career Readiness, Strategy 4, Action Step 6. It is, as we continue to support our students in the realm of college and career readiness, it is recommended that the board accept and approve this MOU. Are there any questions at this time? Jobs for America's Graduates. It's shorter, the acronym stands for JAG.
Your program, prepare them for these jobs?
Yes, ma'am. So what it is, it's a cohort of 45 students in grades 11 and 12. And they are enrolled in a class where they do community service hours, where they do career exploration, do like various career clusters. So like they'll take, for example, since we're talking about STEM, all the careers that you can do, both that require a 2-year or a 4-year, or even just on the job training. They're also take field trips to those sites so that way they're exposed to that. And then 12th grade, they're actually implementing all the things that they learned from 11th grade. So whether it's submitting college applications or submitting applications to apprenticeships, getting like those interview skills, things like that to make them ready for the workforce. And then we follow up with them up until a year after they graduate. So right now, myself and Miss Henry were placing phone calls to say, hey, are you going to college? Okay, have you taken these steps? Hey, you said that you're going into trade school or technical school. Have you already gone up there to, one, sign up, and then two, taken the placement test and things like that? So that's kind of what the JAG program is.
Excuse me. Do they have any instructors or anything that would make them ready, like say they graduated
Mhm.
and you can place them into a hospital as an aide? Do you have anything like that?
We don't, what we do is we partner with North County Tech.
Mhm.
So our students are able to do that, and so they can become like a CNA. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
what you're thinking about. If they weren't able to do North County Tech in high school, we do refer them to programs like at St. Louis Community College. And actually North Tech has an evening program. It's called Applied Tech, where you can also be a CNA as well. And we help them with that application process.
Do we have anything like that? You know, like you said, that in the mornings they go to school
Mm-hmm.
for here,
Mm-hmm.
and then afternoons they might go to some type of
Trade
business.
school, tech
Yeah.
school. Yeah, that's our partnership with North County Tech.
Now, do we have anything like that? I went to, what school I went to? Been a long time. I went to school, to high school, and in the mornings,
Mm-hmm.
we would go to school, or either that whole day, we would go to work study. And in that program, they taught us some
Mm-hmm.
of the things you do as a certified nurse aide or what have you. But they did placement for us within that hospital. It might not necessarily been on the floor being an aide, but it was within the hospitals, uh, within the
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
do we have anything like that? Because with that, when I went to school and learned how to
Mhm.
be what a nurse's aide,
Mm-hmm.
that made me think I wanted to be a nurse.
Mhm.
And with that, then I went to college to be a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
and then to college to get different degrees. I mean, can we broaden their horizon, and let them know that there's other things out there?
Yeah. So we do that. So that's through our partnership with North County Tech. So at sophomores, our students will do what you were talking about, different career exploration. So like for 4 weeks, they'll, look at automotive. For another 4 weeks, they'll be in culinary. Another 4 weeks, they'll be at CNA, just to kind of explore what it is that they think they want to do. And then their junior and their senior year at North County Tech, that's when they do all of the things that they're supposed to do to become like a CNA. In their senior year, they take the test and they pass it. Like they're placed at like one of the hospitals or nursing homes that North County Tech partners with. If our students are not able to get to North County Tech, I think that's your question. What I do is I help students kind of start that process so that when they graduate, they can get into those programs. So like, for example, North County Tech at night has an applied tech program. So for students who want to start that in the fall, I've been working with them to make sure that they've scheduled their testing day. Because I work all over the summer. So I'm still calling them and I'm saying, hey, if you're trying to be a CNA, you need to get your application in right now for August classes. So that's what we do. If they're not able to do it in high school, which we do have a partnership in high school, but if they miss those deadlines, if they're still not sure, if they don't get into a North County Tech, we help them immediately, even after graduation, to get into the program so that they can become a nurse's aide or to become, in the labor union or whatever it is that they want to do. Yeah,
I think it's important
yeah.
for them to achieve something, or see it and achieve something. Don't just go home from high school and sit down.
Exactly.
Think of what you want to do. But some people go from high school to the tech school or what have you. You know, and that's very important for our students. Let
Absolutely.
them sit down, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be sitting down.
Exactly.
We need to push our students to go further, even if it's just a little thing they see. Need to push them to go further because I didn't come from a well-educated family, but me and my sister, now we're educated. So let's just push these kids to go further and let them see. They don't have to do nothing hard, you know.
Yeah.
They don't have to do anything hard. Just see that how easy it is to get into a career field. You
Absolutely.
understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And I will say that we are very fortunate that whenever I want to take students on field trips to expose them to various college and career opportunities, I get my paperwork signed off immediately. So I'm grateful. I will say I'm very, very grateful for that, and that support. And we agree. And for a lot of our students, and that kind of goes with growth and development, we have to kind of give them that time. And I think that's why it's good that you have seasoned educators that are still around. So like myself, like Ms. Nave, like that students, when they are ready to finally take that next step, they have people to kind of come back to and say, hey, I need my transcripts. I'm going here. I'm going there. And they know that home still exists. So even in their own development, we're still here. And I think that's why it's critical that our district does whatever we can to make sure that we are still around, because when they are ready, we have to be ready to serve them.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Dr. May, I'm sorry,
I
Dr.
just,
May has.
it's okay. I don't know if you can answer it or the finance, but I was just wondering, since we were talking about federal programs, if the TANF
Mhm.
was intact to support that program without the whole budget cut
It
conversation.
it is. Title I little A, yes. I did. I asked her, I said, I still got my money.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. She was
Okay.
like, she did.
Okay, okay, good.
Thank you.
Ms. Tejan?
Yeah.
Since you decided you were going to just move stuff around as you saw fit, can you give us an update on the scholarships?
Yeah, actually I can. So we're at 13 million and still counting. So these kids got me going, like my summer is not really my summer anymore. So in mid-June, June 13th, the Michael Brown Foundation honored 3 of our scholars with $3,000 each. In the next few weeks, I have a lot of little scholarship brunches and things to go to. So the National Panhellenic Council, NPHC, is giving our scholar $1,000. The Gamma Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is giving 2 of our scholars varying amounts of scholarships. And it just continues. And our students are still kind of reporting back because they're hearing back from a lot of the local scholarships. I will say, in my last 3 years of being here, this is probably the most local dollars and scholarships that we've received, which I'm very, very proud about.
Very good.
For this class. This class, it was a road to get them there, but when they got there, it's incredible. So I keep getting those kind of emails, and I love to see it.
Very good. And I do also want to add that the Riverview Gardens Alumni Foundation also had their picnic a couple of weeks ago, and a few of us went and they gave some of our students scholarships as well. So 13 million and counting.
And counting.
All right. Very
And
good.
counting. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item up for discussion is the Perkins and CTE-based performance grant application. Making this presentation is Ms. Tracy Nave, Assistant Superintendent of Leadership and Accountability, and this is in conjunction with Policy DD Grants. Ms. Nave?
Good evening, Board of Education, Superintendent Patton, colleagues, and community. I come before you this evening to present for discussion the fiscal year 26 budget applications for the Perkins 5 and CTE Base and Performance Grants. Each year, the state provides our district with allocations to be used to support various aspects of our career and technical education programs at the high school. These programs are including, but not limited to, our CTE teacher salaries, stipends, equipment, supplies, software, technology, and professional development. For the 25-26 school year, known as fiscal year 26, the district has received the following allocations. For the Perkins 5 grant, we've received $283,958. And for the CTE Base and Performance Grant, we have received $24,110. These funds will support business education. And I know there's been talk about STEAM and all of the programs, and you want to know what we have here. So I don't know if any of you are old enough, but when I was in high school, I took typing. That has now transitioned under business education with, liquid paper on the
Never heard of
keys.
that.
And I know you probably have not, but I took typing. But now that's computer business application and those type of courses under our business education. Also, many of you or some in my era heard of home ec. Well, that's now family and consumer sciences, and we have that available. It's an upgraded portion where students are getting Safe Serve certified for culinary, and they're also getting sewing information through apparel and textiles, home furnishings, as well as fashion merchandising. In addition, we have programs in marketing, which include entrepreneurship and also sports and entertainment marketing. We have Project Lead the Way, engineering, and our computer science courses. And you've heard others talk about the STEAM. Well, we have those available at our high school, and they are also receiving dual credit for those programs. We also have college and career guidance. Some of the programs that Ms. TJ works with are also a part of this funding that we receive, as well as the professional development set our educators in the CTE department receive. So it is being recommended that the Board of Education accept the budget applications for fiscal year 26 for the Perkins 5 and CTE Base and Performance Grant funds being used to support career and technical education programming and meet the college and career needs of our high school scholars. A request for approval will be made later during this meeting. Are there any questions?
I have just one. Madam Chair.
Dr. May.
Do we have CTE advisory boards to support some of the conversations about program improvement and expansion and so forth?
Yes, we do. We
Okay.
have advisory boards that meet quarterly, and we have had through the years partnerships with AT&T, Regions Bank. We've had representatives from Metro, by state, I can't think of, but we've had several members of the community and partnerships with Clayco all coming in to meet with us during those advisory boards.
What is our normal process? Because I don't think I've heard enough about like CTE textbook adoption and that process to make sure that we are getting information to the students that's relevant.
A lot of it has become digital through software programs, even with, personal finance that we have at the high school. There's a platform that's one of the state recommended platforms for personal finance for some of our, Lord, now I'm drawing a blank, but many of the programs are digital based and they are paid through this Perkins funding.
Okay, okay, thank you.
And go ahead. Oh, yeah.
Through their ICAP, we help students to identify, okay, what is it that you're interested in? What courses do we have, especially CTE courses that we have that will fulfill kind of your interests? So if you're, for example, I want to go into entrepreneurship, we have an entrepreneurship CTE class that they can take that meets not only graduation requirements, but also that is part of our Perkins.
Ms. Nave, that was typing and home ec, is that what?
That was back in my day. I know you
All right.
young ladies haven't
Okay.
a shorthand. Have that. Yeah.
The only person I saw wrinkle their forehead was Dr. Hunter. She was like, what? What? I'm teasing. We always
Thank
tease
you.
Dr. Hunter about being 12, but I'm teasing. Thank you, Ms. Nave. Our next item up for discussion is the Project Aware carryover funds. Making this presentation is Ms. Deirdre Liddell. She is the Executive Director of Student and Community Support Services, and this is in conjunction with Policy GCL, Professional Staff Development Opportunities. Ms. Liddell.
Greetings to the Riverview Gardens Board of Education, Dr. Tanya Patton, colleagues, and community. I bring before you today the Project Aware Advancing Wellness and Resiliency in Education grant. We've had this grant for 4 years. We're getting ready to roll into our 5th year for this grant. This is a mental health grant for school-based mental health. And with this, the state has had additional funding to spend before the end of the grant cycle. The end of the grant cycle for our 4th year is September 30th. So with this, they're wanting to grant us an additional $19,500 that is reimbursable. And with this, we're looking at doing wellness mindset training. Wellness mindset training is similar to our nonviolent crisis trainings that we've done. It helps with the de-escalation skills, holds, different things like that. We always want to make sure that restraint is the last thing that we do, and we want to be able to sharpen all of our de-escalation skills, not only for our staff members, but also to be able to teach our students those de-escalation skills as well. So we're asking for the board to approve the $19,500 for reimbursable funds for the Project Aware Grant to be spent before September 30th of 2025. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Liddell. How will the teachers be selected to participate in the training?
Okay, so we're gonna reach out, and it's not just teachers.
Or
We
staff?
we want to make sure that we have a little bit of everyone.
Okay.
Our staff that are student facing, and then also our staff that are parent facing, because we know that we do sometimes have to do use our de-escalation skills when we're answering the phones, when our families are coming in, as well as when our students become dysregulated. And then also when two staff members may become dysregulated. So with that, we want to look at principals. We want to look at some of our safety and security staff, our restorative counselors, social workers, and even administrative assistants.
And with that grant amount, how many staff members would you say will be able to participate in the professional development?
About 13, and with that, it's a training program, so they become certified trainers
Okay.
for our district. Yes, so we want to make sure that we have motivated individuals who are outgoing that can do the training, as well as those that have roots within our district.
Ms. Lane?
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Everything that happens in the community gets blamed on the Riverview Garden School District.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
Mhm.
It isn't fair, it isn't accurate, but we are the district.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you hear, I have made this unfortunate leap back into some social media platforms. So when you hear youth, students, teenagers, it's always labeled, that it's our district. I don't know how we combat that. Maybe the director of communications could help to try to brainstorm that. However, I know that restorative justice also reaches out to parents. So will this program, the wellness mindset?
Yes, so we have a family engagement specialist, and we'll make sure that our family engagement specialist is trained as well. So as we host our programs, that can be a program as well that we host for our parents, to train our parents.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Liddell. Our last item up for discussion is the retirement and permanent substitute teachers and critical shortage. Making this presentation is Ms. Travis Ford, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. It says so right here, Travis, right here. And that this is in conjunction with policy GCD1, professional staff recruiting and hiring, and professional staff fringe benefits. Mr. Ford.
Good evening again, board members, Dr. Patton, community. On May 12, 2022, the Missouri legislature passed Senate Bill 681. It had in it a waiver for working after retirement. We call it the war waiver, which included a provision that waived the working after retirement limits for part-time and/or temporary substitute work performed by retirees as substitute teachers. This provision was put in order to, or passed in order to cover substitute shortages that were very prevalent around the state at that time. One of the issues is that this waiver had an end date of June 30th, 2025, and it applied only to the substitute teaching. Due to the expiration of this waiver, we were required to release 16 certified teachers who worked after retirement within our district as of August 2022, all the way through June 30th, 2025. At this time, the limits are back in effect and applied to all of those retirees, and those limits started back in effect as of July the 1st, 2025. We also have staff members who worked under critical shortage. Critical shortage refers to positions that are hard to fill in Missouri, and because that designation has been made by the U.S. Department of Education regarding the shortages that are impacting various positions, including teachers and administrators, we have critical shortage allocations. The working after retirement piece, I want to talk about that one first, and then I'll talk about critical shortage. Currently, Senate Bill 705 has passed legislation through the House and the Senate. It would extend the deadline of Senate Bill 681 all the way until June 30th, 2030. It would remove those working after retirement limits for the part-time and the temporary substitute work performed by those retirees, and they could be covered by the employers, the third-party employers is what it would call, which would be us. Because it has passed the legislature, it is now sitting on the governor's desk, and it is waiting for the governor's signature. There is an emergency clause in it, which means that the provision will become law with an effective date if the governor does not sign the bill. So the governor now has until July the 14th to either sign or veto the bill. If he does not sign or veto the bill, then the bill will become law. And all of a sudden, those provisions will be put back in place, and it would be waived until June 30th of 2030. Critical shortage. Additionally, the district receives critical shortage allocations based on its certified staffing report that Pierce pulls at the end of each school year. This provision allows retirees to return after retirement and to work without that same set deadline. The only caveat is a district can only receive a critical shortage allotment for 1% of its certified and non-certified staff, or 5 individuals, whichever one is higher. Last year, I think we had 7 critical shortage allocations, but because we had the war waiver, we had up to 16 teachers to come back and work after retirement. This year, we have received our critical shortage allocations. We have 7 allocations for certified staff members and 5 for non-certified staff members. Critical shortage is an employment, it's a legal provision. It allows those retirees to come back and return to work for covered employers, which would be us, and it would not hinder their retirement benefits. The work may be part-time or full-time and can be in a certified or non-certified position. Employers can also use the critical shortage provisions to fill administrator and support positions, with the exception of the superintendent position. And so in order for them to be employed under critical shortage, there are some qualifications that we have to do. We have to show that the position was actually vacant. We have to show that the position was posted for over 30 days. We have to also show that we weren't able to find qualified applicants to fill those positions. Then we go back through peers, we get the position certified. Once we get the approval from them, then we can reach out to a retiree to be employed into that position. So our justification: working after retirement in order to fill teacher vacancies in the Riverview Gardens School District, and contingent on Senate Bill 705 becoming law, we would like to extend offers to retirees to come back to work as permanent substitute teachers through June 30th, 2030. The district would offer the retirees 75% of their last salary plus benefits to fill those teacher vacancies. Also, under critical shortage, we would request to continue to use and utilize our critical shortage allocations for eligible, hard-to-fill positions in alignment with our approved salary schedules. So it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the hiring under the war waiver contingent on the Senate Bill 705 becoming law of Riverview Gardens retirees as permanent substitute teachers for 75% of their last salary plus benefits through June 30th, 2030. In addition, we also recommend that the Board of Education approve the continuing of hiring, utilizing our critical shortage allocations for eligible hard-to-fill positions in alignment with our approved salary schedules. Are there any questions?
So what you're saying is when they retire and if they come back, they're only gonna make 75% of their wage? Why
Yes,
just
ma'am.
75?
So the 75% is what was approved by the board previously when we brought this item in 2022. And we had success with bringing back our retirees at 75% of it. It wasn't that Pierce put that cap on it, but this is what the Board of Education thought was feasible. And so this would keep us in alignment with what had already been approved.
No.
So they still receive their benefits. So under this provision, so typically the retirees can only work 550 hours. After that, they start to be penalized of their retirement benefits. Under this waiver, they're able to still receive their retirement benefits plus the 75% that our district would pay them.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And we've had, and most of our retirees have already expressed that they want to come back.
Okay, I just want to see what's going on in case I do it.
All right, let us know.
Dr. May?
So I guess my question is, have we started, letting those individuals know, of that potential for them to return?
So
Start applying now?
it's a yes.
Wait.
So we've let them know that we are monitoring what the legislation was doing. They've been reaching out to us, pulling us aside if they were working summer school, calling us, coming up to see us, trying to see where the legislation is. We've informed them, and Pierce has also informed them that it's sitting on the governor's desk and we're waiting on a signature. So we've kept them informed. Now, if the board approves this, we can start reaching out and making sure that we are ready as of the 14th if it becomes law.
So since they're coming back and they're already receiving retirement, their funds from their salary doesn't go also into a retirement, does it? Or they opted out of retirement payments?
So I don't have all of those details in terms of that. I know we covered their benefits. They were able to stop those payments and all of that was waived. But I don't know about that piece. There is a portion that we do have to report in terms of peers regarding their retirement. They hadn't mentioned it the first couple of years, but this year they did reach out and say there's a portion that they still have to report on.
Okay, so for this particular item, because I'm just thinking now that we might need to specifically indicate pending in our motion language so that it's just not in effect and it fails or something vetoed.
Yes,
then-
ma'am.
Okay, all right.
And we will bring it back if it's vetoed. If it doesn't pass, the board chair has asked that we bring it back to inform the board. So we will bring it back if it doesn't pass.
No, I was thinking that I can put the language in pending.
Yeah, we can put the
Or
language in
effective
pending.
after July
Right,
15th is what
right.
I'm thinking. Is-
Pending the governor's
Yeah.
signature or pending patent.
Absolutely.
Okay, I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Couple of questions, Mr. Ford. How many allocations did you say we received under critical shortage?
This year we received 7 under certified
Mhm.
and we received 5 under non-certified.
Okay. And then the other question, the 16 certified teachers who were released this year, are they all interested in coming back, the retired teachers?
14 have already expressed that they're interested in coming back. There are 1 or 2 that we've reached out for and they said they're open to a conversation. So
And then under the ones that are hired under critical shortage, are they also hired in at the 75%?
So the ones that are hired under critical shortage in this past year, they were hired under the 75%. This would give us an option because last year we did not reach out to any administrators or support staff under critical shortage. This would give us an option for that, and they would be hired at the regular it would give us that option to hire them according to our salary schedules
Okay.
for those critical shortage, and which would be limited.
Okay, that's what I was thinking,
Mhm.
'cause when I was reading the language, so the 75% is for the war.
Yes, ma'am. It's for the
And-
war
and
waiver.
then for critical shortage, it would be
Based on
based
our-
on the salary
yes, ma'am.
schedule. Okay, just wanted to make sure I understood that. And I think there was something else, I lost it. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any
All
other
right.
Thank
questions?
you.
Madam Chair, this concludes our items for discussion.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Patton. All right, I request a motion to approve our items for action.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Dr. May.
I would like for us to collectively approve items A through H, which would be calendar revision, board meetings and work sessions, consolidated program application, the SY 25-26 PD calendar, the dual enrollment with the community college Perkins and CTE, base and performance grant budget, project aware, carryover, and JAG MOU.
Do we have a second? Second. It has been moved by Dr. May and seconded by Ms. Jackson to approve the items for action: A, 2025 calendar revision; B, Board of Education meeting work session; C, consolidated programs application 25-26 Title 1A and Title 1, little a; D, SY 25-26 professional development calendar and August pre-service budget; E, STLCC dual enrollment, STLCC dual credit and dual enrollment, F, Perkins V, and CTE base and performance grant budget applications; G, project aware, carryover funds, and JAG MOU for services 25 and 26. There's. Mhm.
Is there anything in there that she's excluding? Is that the whole thing?
Mm-mm.
It's so
No,
much.
so
So retirees.
I was the only one, and I think she's gonna bring a separate motion. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, all right, there's no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, ayes have it, motions carries.
All right, Madam Chair.
Yes, Dr. May?
I would like to move that we adopt the retiree as permanent substitute teachers if and when the governor signs.
Second. Okay, it has been moved by Dr. May and seconded by Ms. Jackson to accept the retirees as permanent substitute teachers war and critical shortage 2025 to 2023 proposal when the governor signs it. Is
If
there-
and when.
If and when the governor signs it. Any further discussion?
I understand if the governor does not sign it, it still becomes law.
Yes, it still
So
becomes law.
we don't really, so, I mean,
We will put in there pending passage of this bill.
Do we need to rework the motion? Yes. Okay.
Reworded to. Huh? No, I just move for us to adopt it if and when the governor signs. That was the only extension at the end.
Dr. May, she's
And
saying
she's
that the
saying that
governor, even
it
if he
won't.
doesn't sign it by the 14th, it will pass, so we will put in there.
So
pending
even if he
passage.
vetoed it or.
If he vetoes it, no, but if he doesn't.
Well, see, that's why I didn't.
Yeah,
So-
pending passage.
Yeah.
Pending passage.
Okay.
whether-
So, all right, so I would,
State the motion.
all right, I would like to move to rescind my, motion and restate. All right, I move that we accept the retiree as permanent substitute teachers, effective with the passage of the bill.
Okay, Ms. Moore Rio, okay. It has been moved by Dr. May, and seconded by Ms. Moore Real, to accept the retirees as permanent substitute teachers war and critical shortage 2025 to 2023 proposal with the passage. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I'd like to request a motion to adjourn the open session meeting. So moved. Okay, moved by Ms. Moore Real and seconded by Ms. Jackson, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, good night.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Wait a minute.
everybody.
Wait a minute.